very grateful to be here today to present to you, a philosophy for 21st century leadership. I'm very grateful that Ms. Donna White invited me in to speak. And I'll be very honest with you, I wasn't very familiar with the Rotary Club. And so I had to go and do some research. And what I found is that it really aligned with what my purpose and my passion is to help people discover who they are, to support our future generations. We live in a different society today. That's reality. And once upon a time, there was a concept of leadership that has shifted now. We're talking about AI. It's impossible to kind of use the same philosophies in the society we live in today that worked 30 years ago. And so the philosophy that I coach and I promote and I practice in my life in 21st century leadership is that inside of every human is a hidden leader. Every human arrives on this planet with the capacity to lead, but they must become a leader through a process, right? Every one of us is a leader in our area of gifting. Everything God created came to this planet with a gift trapped inside of it. A bird comes in with a gift of flight already in it. Nobody puts flight in a bird. A fish comes in with a gift of swim already in it. A mango seed comes here with a gift of a tree trapped on the inside of it. What's so unique about that mango seed is if we sit it on our kitchen counter, it'll sit there for 30 years and the tree will never come out. It will remain trapped inside the seed. Take that same seed, drop it in some moisture, some soil, give it some moisture and sunlight, boom, here comes the tree that was trapped inside the seed. Well, that's what you guys do. You help people be in the right environments. I'm listening to all of the events that you have coming up. That is what is going to be most effective for our future generations. So my question to you this morning is, what would be some of the issues that plague our families, communities, and societies today? Anybody? Entitlement? Overinflated egos? Dishonesty? Peer pressure. Anybody else? Lack of direction.
3-2 change-up pitch.
3-2 change-up pitch. Certainly an issue. That's certainly an issue. Here's some of what I call symptoms. Teenage suicide, opioid epidemic, teenage pregnancy, school violence, gambling, obesity, divorce. Most of us refer to these as problems, but they are not. They are symptoms. And when we address the symptom, we never touch the problem. It's like a pain in my hand is an indication that there is a problem. It's not the problem. It's an indication that there is a problem. And I can tell you this because, and I'm going to be very transparent with you. For many, many years of my life, I lived trapped in active addiction to drugs and alcohol. For many years of my life. I went through treatment 12 times. 12 times. They didn't think I was going to make it. Everybody had given up on me. April of this year, April the 30th of 2024, I'll have 20 years free from active addiction. Thank you. What I am most proud about is that what I coach, what I practice, what I promote, I live it. I am a proven example of how what I do works. Okay? So, what do? My bold promise. I teach you the 12 principles of self-government, producing an inner peace, empowering you to create happier, healthier, and safer communities in which to live, work, and play. The reason I went to treatment 12 times is because I kept trying to fix the symptom. I never got to the root cause. I never addressed the problem, which was me and my way of thinking. I could stay away from the people, places, and things, but I would go back. And I use the word cultivating because I grew up on a 500-acre farm. So I know farming. And one of the things that I learned is that the best way to keep the weeds out of our lawn, what is that? Most people say spray them. That's one way. Most people say pull them up. That's another way. But the most effective way to keep the weeds out of our lawn is to sow the grass seeds so thick that the weed seeds can't take root. That's why we do aeration and overseeding. That is the best way. And that's what happened to me. I had to go back and cultivate. I had to unlearn and relearn. And I think in our society today, with the issues, the peer pressures that our future generations are dealing with, we have to take a look and help them understand why they're here. The number one issue that I work with for people common that I work with as a life coach is they don't know why they're here. They don't know their purpose. I promote these 12 principles to inner peace. These principles: honesty, hope, faith, courage, integrity, willingness, humility, discipline, forgiveness, acceptance, and gratitude. These principles I practice on a daily basis, and they have helped me to become a responsible, productive member of society. What is a principle? A principle is a fundamental law that guides our decision-making process, empowering us to live a lifestyle of integrity and morality. Ethical. I saw ethical many times on the website for the Rotarians. Ethics is a big part of your mission, living a lifestyle of being ethical. Whether we want to admit it or not, even though we live in a free world, law is the most important component in creation because it forms the foundation for all relationships. If you take a weed and pull it out of the dirt, you don't have to kill it. It will die because it's broken that relationship. If you take a fish out of water, you don't have to kill it. It will die because that relationship has been broken. Unfortunately, in our society today, we have gotten away from some of the basics, the laws. What's the purpose of a law? What's the purpose of a principle? It's to create order. The absence of law is disorder, anarchy. So we don't use the word law. We say principles. Sounds better, right? And so my objective and what we do is, and we've already seen that slide, is helping our future generations understand why they're here using these principles. And I talk about the power of leadership because nothing happens without leadership. Nothing changes without leadership. Nothing develops without leadership, improves, corrected, advances, succeeds. We're always directly or indirectly being led by somebody. So what is the definition of leadership? What is it? What is the definition of 21st century leadership? It is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, motivated by a passion, generated by a vision, birthed by a conviction, produced by a purpose. I saw that. Yeah, that was a lot, right?
You just announced my whole business.
So let's turn that upside down because that's what we're seeing in a lot of the lives of our future generations. They don't know who they are. They don't know their purpose. And anytime a person or people do not understand their purpose, abuse is inevitable. The divorce rate over 50%. That's because people don't understand the purpose of it. So we've got to get back to the root. So when we discover our purpose, it creates a vision. That vision is our purpose in pictures. I see this vision. I get excited. That excitement equates to passion. People are influenced by passion. And now I'm in a position of leadership. And everybody is a leader in their area of functioning. I'm not good at mathematics. I'm not even good at technology. But give me a microphone, stand me in front of 3,000 people at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'll get down like James Brown. But you know what's so unique? I didn't discover it until I was 45 years old, when I had a revelation that that was my gift. And guess what? At the same time, I had an epiphany. I remember it like yesterday, Saturday morning. I had 5 years clean. I had never been clean that long in my life. And I had like, what am I going to do now? Wow, this is great. But what am I going to do? And I had this revelation of becoming a speaker. And then I had an epiphany of being back in the first and second and third grade. And I stayed in trouble all the time. Guess what I stayed in trouble for?
Talking to you.
Talking in class. I had the gift when I landed here. Just like the bird, just like the fish, just like the mango seed. And if we begin to help our future generations discover their purpose, then they can also not become wrecks on the road of life, dragged off into an alley or exit ramp behind a lust or a craving. We can help them do that. These people here, I've studied leadership quite extensively because my passion is to be effective. Not so much to be notarized behind it, but the people that come across my path, I want to make sure they get value for what my gift is. If we study these individuals, it all started with a purpose. It was never about so much people following them. Leadership is about purpose. How it started and becoming an agent of change, as I began to discover why I was here, what my purpose was, that I was still here after going to rehab 12 times, had to be a reason, had to be a purpose. And I discovered that my assignment was to work with our future generations and even people in my season who have yet to discover their purpose. I meet with people, I work for a college, and I meet with people every day who have invested time and money and training, and they're working on a job or in a situation and they're miserable because they made a decision based on economic potential versus their gifting. So I go out to schools and I do presentations and I work with counselors and different institutions to help implement these 12 principles to inner peace. Because guess what? People who operate in peace, they're not trying to hurt themselves or nobody else. Laws create a safer environment. And that's what these principles do. I'm just like you. I'm no different. The people in this room right now are people who are really have a heartfelt care and concern for our generation and our future generations to come. That's why we're here. We want to make life better as our ancestors did before us. They prepared the way for us. A lot of the training that we received, unfortunately, a lot of it has changed over the years. But we have to get back to the basics. Okay? So with these 12 principles, I go around and put these up in schools. And because they have the power to change the culture in these communities. Law has the power to change the culture in our communities. These 12 principles are, number one, inherent in creation. They were here when we got here. Number two, they are universal. They're good everywhere. Number three, they are non-partial. Doesn't matter. Black, white, green, tall, short, male, female. And they are permanent. It's not me. It's not personal. It's the principles. So we see these children and these future generations, and they see these principles. They see them at home. They see them at school. They see them on a billboard. We know faith comes by hearing, and we keep seeing them. And now they will start holding each other accountable. Hey, was that honest? Where's your courage at? You got to take a test and you're scared. Where's your courage at? And so now we help develop a culture that is conducive to 21st century leadership. How do we do this? 3 steps. How we integrate 12 principles without being controlling. How to create common unity in our community without losing our ethical heritage. And how to transform unhealthy mindsets without being manipulative. You know what the answer is? The 12 principles of inner peace for all of them. So how do we integrate these? Well, we post them up. We talk about them. We use them in our conversations. Really, how this really came about in my hometown, Duplin County. Everybody familiar with Duplin County? A 14 and a 15-year-old OD'd. And I was speaking with an educator, and I said, if a student walks past you and you smell the marijuana on them, or you see them nodding in class, what is your approach? What do you do? And she said, we don't have an approach. And I thought, what a tragedy. So we can use these principles to be non-offensive, non-threatening, non-controlling. Because true leadership is not about control, it's about service. True leadership is not about manipulation, it's about inspiration. And that is the highest form of life, is to inspire other people. That's what I've discovered for me. Anybody know these 2 people? That day when I had that revelation, I've always been a Michael Jordan fan. And when he came into the league, he was jump man jump. I said, you know what? I'm going to be Talk Man Talk. So that's how Talk Man Talk was birthed. Everybody may not be a coach, but everybody can contribute. Everybody can work together for a common cause to create a happier, healthier, safer community in which to live in. Testimonies, yeah. I love this quote. This is one of my famous quotes here by Abraham Lincoln. What you see me doing today, I eat, sleep, and breathe it. This is who I am. This is what I do. I can stand on what I do. You can put me on the front steps of the White House on Monday morning on NBC, and I can stand on these 12 principles that I promote. They work. They save my life. And they'll do the same thing for the next person. This is called 21st century leadership. How to create common unity in our communities without losing our ethical heritage. People are moving in and out. Miss Donna shared with me how many people are moving into the Clayton area, and I love Clayton. I've been here for about 5 years now. I don't think I'm ever going anywhere. I love it here. There's a fruit stand on Main Street. They don't even put their vegetables up. They leave them out. That's the kind of community I'm used to living in. Mayberry, huh? Where what was his name? He would lock himself up. What about that? What about that level of integrity? Right, Otis. Yeah, he would lock his. We have to create that culture. It's not going to come back by osmosis, and we can do it in a non-offensive way. That's my job. That's what I do. I've accepted the assignment, and I'm still learning. I'm still, learning how to present myself and be more available to those in need who are welcome and opening to learn. This is one of my mentors here, and one of his things was, it's not important about how long we live, but how effective is my life. What am I going to do to help prepare the next generation and make their lives, their futures better, like people did for me? Mother Teresa, Mahatma Gandhi, those people, they made life better for the people around them. I want to do the same thing. Dr. King, we talked about the MLK. One of the things, vision. Vision was one of the greatest motivations for leadership. He was always seeing stuff. I have a dream. The little white boys and little black girls could walk down the street. He was seeing stuff because true vision is for the advancement of humanity. Not a bigger house. That's something different, right? But this is what I live by. I want to help create a healthier, happier, safer community in which to live, work, and play. How to transform unhealthy mindsets? I had to unlearn and relearn. And in our society, unfortunately, today, there's a lot of unhealthy habits that we've adopted in our society. And the only way to overrule a habit is to create another habit. So, yeah, we're not psychologists, but we certainly can promote these principles and do as Mother Teresa did. You know, we don't all have to do great things, but we can do little things with love. Finally, I was sent this picture from a student at Winston-Salem State University. And she had these 12 principles on the back of her phone. And I was speechless. I was speechless that all of the crack and the alcohol that I smoked led me to that, to make a difference, an influence in a younger person's life. I've accepted my plot. And so today, if I showed you what, if you follow what I showed you in step one and use the proven method that was already working, and what I've done, it's been proven and it's working all around the world. These 12 principles, many people live by them. They just haven't been put into mainstream per se. And step two, to create common unity in our communities. And then use step three to transform healthy mindsets. Do you think we would make an impact in the lives of the people in our communities? Gotcha. Thank you. So who's going to be the eagle? Who's going to be the eagle? How do we do this? How do we work together? Well, on the tables, I've placed a copy of my 12 principles. I've also placed my contact information. Please feel free to reach out to me at any time. If there's an event or if there's an individual or family who is in need of maybe just some fresh ideas, please reach out to me. This is what I do. Again, I want to thank you, Mr. Woodall, and all the Rotarians here that allow me to come and take up some time, your most valuable asset in life, and listen to me. It has certainly been a pleasure, and I am very grateful for this opportunity. I'll be back again. Thank you.